to My Little Underground. I'm Peter A. So happy to announce that tomorrow is the return of the Wrestling Caucus, which myself and my younger brother, Michael Smiley Arriaga, talk about all things pro wrestling, but this time we're going to be talking specifically about our recent trip to AEW Grand Slam, the second annual show held at Arthur Ashe Stadium in Queens. So that should be a lot of fun. If you're a wrestling fan, you can follow the Wrestling Caucus wherever you get your podcasts. And wherever you're listening to My Little Underground as well, you can also listen to the Wrestling Caucus. And today on My Little Underground, we have Deep of Two Hungry Bros talking up his latest solo album, What My Dad Listens To. And we also talked about the changing tide of hip-hop, especially in the underground, the generational divide in hip-hop, and so much more with Deep of Two Hungry Bros right here on My Little Underground. All right, Deep. Welcome back to My Little Underground.
Hey, I'm here. I'm alive.
Yeah. You and your partner, Two Hungry Bros, you guys got together.
Books.
Yeah, you guys got together to do the 90s Now show over at Beerwax in Bushwick. How was that?
Very fun.
Yeah.
Very fun, very interesting. Jassoon had a fun time listening and seeing him because he moved to Philadelphia, and that's our bro. And so it was good to see him again. Pudge killed it. Brown Jewel. And then it was good to see Icon and Mike King, or he goes by Mike King now. It was good to kick it with him, and always good to see Cryptic and Alaska, who are on the album that I just released. And it's because of 90 Now. That show is one of the big catalysts for the album that just dropped. What Dad listens to.
When you guys were doing your set, like, were you guys together, or did you do a set and Boogs did a set, like at the Beerwax in Queens?
We've been doing it separately, except like because he does the rare grooves, and I like doing hip hop, and then I do I guess I'm a more standard blender, like because rare grooves you can do the drop and stop. But I like being technical with my blend, so I'll do the hip hop stuff. You saw me at Beerwax Queens, and then you see how our like I'm a big bit more of a technician, but he's got a lot of flavor. He's got a crazy wide variety of rare grooves, and then so the crazy thing is that he brought some hip hop joints, and he's like, "Yo, you want to spin them?" And I looked at him like, "Oh man, and yeah, he brought." Because we used to we share we have like a record pool of records that we both used to dig through for our samples, or just when we had gigs. And he brought That's When You Lost single from Souls of Mischief. I was like, wow. And then I played Love Song by Bush Babies.
Yeah. We're on that bill for 90 Now, were there any like younger producers or DJs, beat makers, and all that stuff?
There were. This kid Theravada was there. He was an interesting dude. He was playing joints off his SP 404 or 606, and then I don't know what those machines are because I'm a caveman, but he was playing off of that, and he was playing joints without drums. And then the funny thing is that Jedi was hosting, and he's like, and then also there's a segment. Usually there's a segment where MCs come and then they rhyme over your beats, and a lot of you get a lot of people like Poison Pen coming by, the Plague members, Head Bop Music, a lot of OGs. As Yeshua the Poet, you get Adam's Family dudes. You get a lot of like NYOGs, and it's by NYOGs for NYOGs, but this kid was like, nah, I don't want anybody to rap on my stuff. And then so he's playing, and that's kind of rude from the get to start off that way, especially after being invited. But then so Jedi's like, whatever, I'm gonna do it. I'm the host anyway. And then so he's listening, and he's like, yo, does this change up? Or is there any drums in this? And a lot of the older cats was like, oh my God. Because a lot of the new kids, I don't know, man. They like loops. They like loops, and they like funky, groovy loops.
Yeah, that's cool. Because maybe I should have been there too. Because I'm like, I
In
embrace some
between.
new stuff, and I like
Yeah.
some of the
It's
older stuff.
it's
Yeah,
definitely a good like mixture of the two. The homegirl Brown Jewel was from Wisconsin. Pays brought her in, and like her drums are crazy hard, and then Pudge had this his drops. He had this effects board that like really made his drops very funky fresh, and he was rocking along, doing drops along to the freestyles. It really it was a great performance.
yeah. With what my dad's listened to, your recent album and compilation, it's really cool because you're like self-aware. You're like,
Is it?
okay, I am
No.
listening to this is what I listen to. Yes, I'm older, but it may sound like the past, but the music is still fresh today to me from
Oh,
what I'm listening to.
good. I was hoping so. I was
Yeah,
I hope I could snare some young listeners or people trying to figure out what underground hip hop can be type of thing. You know what I mean?
yeah, yeah. There's a like a rapper singer in New York now, Kelly Moonstone, and a lot of her sound is like very Soul Aquarians, Erica Badu stuff, and she's younger, she's in her 20s. So I think what's interesting is like I think a lot of people in my generation are very nostalgic about the 90s, and because if I saw like I was listening to a podcast, and there was this one girl or whatever they did like a segment with, and the girl was born in 1999. She's like, yeah, I'm a 90s baby. I'm like, wow, like a lot of
On the
people,
cusp.
a lot of younger people really are just, they love the 90s nostalgia. You see people walking around with N64 shirts and all this kind of stuff. They really like
That's
that
right.
90s
Yeah.
nostalgia. So like it's kind of interesting because like I feel like a lot of people really want to be in um that era that you came up in. Don't you do you think so? Like, do you really think that okay, they want to listen to the new stuff, they don't really want to listen to what I'm doing?
My son doesn't listen to anything new.
Yeah, you were telling me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was telling you that on the train. Let's pretend we didn't have. Peter and I live pretty close to each other,
yeah,
listeners, and so we've run into each other. So let's act like we never had that
yeah,
conversation
yeah.
for the sake of the listeners. But my son does not listen to anything new, because he doesn't like negative vibrations. You know what I'm saying?
I got you 100%.
So anything that doesn't resonate negatively, he'll like it. And I mean, so just to cite a few things, I haven't seen the She-Hulk new episode yet, but Stranger Things. Stranger Things was a pop sensation, and just the way it referenced the '80s, I mean, it made the '80s cool again to a younger generation, which I appreciate because I want to hear that over anything else most of the time. Um, and then also the pandemic, you had kids online searching for stuff and not necessarily having things drilled into their head. No
Ha,
pun
drill.
on drill, but yeah, no, you got it. But
Yeah.
and then there's some people who want, like my in-laws, for instance. My wife has been like, "Hey, support the album," and that falls on deaf ears. But then they just went to a Daddy Yankee concert, but then they're like, "Oh, we're super religious, and we don't like negative messages." But I go to their barbecues. I barbecue at their barbecues, and they're listening to Bad Bunny, and I'm hearing Bad Bunny, talk smut in Spanish, and I'm like, guys, you understand this too, right? Yeah, because you speak Spanish even more so than I do. So don't tell me. Anyway, my album's not negative. Come on,
No, not at
stuff's
all.
creative. Nah,
Yeah.
it's not, right. I'm trying to think.
No.
There's just a lot of visualization in there, but I don't think my album's negative.
There's no negative about it at all, I don't think so at all.
Even
Do you,
Jack Progressor, nah.
yeah.
He just talked about eating shrooms and some creativeness, and Fat Boy Sharif reference Serpent on the Rainbow. I was appreciative of that. You ever seen that movie?
No.
When I was, let me tell you this story, son. When I was a young boy, And my mom left me alone with the cable box. They played this movie, Surfing in the Rainbow. And oh, I forgot the name of the actor. It's the guy from Independence Day, the president.
The president. I forgot the actor. I know who you're talking about, but I don't know his
He was
name.
also in Casper,
Yeah.
the Friendly Ghost. He was the dad. He gets his nuts nailed. Like they put a nail, and I wasn't sure if it was either a nail or they cut it, or they cut his nuts off. It was one of those things. Something violent happened to his private parts, and I was like, so it stayed in my mind as a youth. There's a few things that just stayed in my mind. That was one. I was like, oh. So when he mentioned that, it just took me back. So if you were ever traumatized by that movie as a youth, go listen to my song,
Yeah.
Needles.
That's kind of with like me with Final Destination. When I first saw that as a kid, oh my God, fuck me up.
Oh, my
Horrible.
wife likes that movie. She always references that.
I can't watch it anymore. I mean, I thought it was like,
Do you watch the
shocking as a
sequels?
kid. Ooh, some of them, like I saw the third one, which was fucked up. The fourth one was just kind of comedy at that point. It was just ridiculous. It was kind of
I
campy.
don't remember all the scenes. One of the death scenes that really stand out is in the logs.
Oh, jeez. Yeah,
That's
that
pretty
messed me up. Yeah. Driving on the highway now, you see, oh, I can't. It's just terrible.
In New York, we had Kim's Video, and then we used to watch Faces of Death in the '90s. You ever heard of those
No.
compilation? Oh boy! So we used to. I don't know. It was just as a kid, you try to well, I don't know. It's '80s, '90s. I was born in '79, so I'm not going to call myself a '70s baby. I'm an '80s baby. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I kind of don't relate to the homegirl who was born in '99.
Yeah.
But we used to just try to find the illest stuff and show it to each other because that's what like growing up in New York was good for, just finding ill stuff like the illest. And if you could find the ill, you could one up your boys by finding something crazy and ill. And minus Serbian movie, um, like Faces of Death was like a compilation of supposed real death scenes that were
Like a snuff
videotaped.
film?
Not a snuff. It was
Mhm.
supposed to be footage of actual people dying.
Wow.
Yeah, and we used to watch that. So then when Final Destination came along, we're like, oh, they must have gotten the idea from Faces of Death.
Oh, okay. Do
And
you
you
ever
would
put,
you
yeah.
would you would be
No,
able to
good.
get it in all those discount DVD stores
Yeah.
that would sell like the 2 for 10s and whatnot, or like a lot of the African shops on Harlem that they would have the discount DVDs on 1 2 5. You would be able to find them. I don't know where you can find them. I think they're outlawed now.
Really?
They
Oh,
might be, yeah.
yeah.
Faces of Death.
Okay. Do you play music for your son at all?
Yeah, so I was doing the BSB radio show.
Yeah.
Uh so I would do the mixes, Ben would do the hosting. I also when I DJ'd for A Ball Radio briefly, I brought him with me and he would listen and hang out. So I do play like I'm an open format DJ, and also I try to take him to as many gigs as he's allowed to get into.
Yeah.
So that started when I DJ'd at the Bronx Brewery. He enjoyed it. I DJ'd at there was a few gigs, like I said. Oh, at Interboro Brewery, I would bring him to that one, and he would hang out, enjoy himself, and he would tell other people not to ask for requests because it was not good. Was that not aesthetic, but it wasn't in good form. It wasn't in good behavior to ever ask a DJ. And I was told that by someone who was there. He's like, "Is that your son?" He's going around telling people. He's like, "Yo, I DJ too, and if I had a son that told that to others for me, I mean, that's awesome."
That's awesome. That's so cool.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so if you play your son your music, like do you take his opinions into consideration when you make music going forward?
The song Mandelbaums, we
Yeah.
made that we made that beat together. during the pandemic because he had to do a
Wow.
beat project for school, and so he made one for his school, and he had to do a rap on it for his music class. And then I said, "Oh well, I got the machine on. Let's keep going." And then so he did some of the drum programming on Mandelbaums to
That's one of
answer
my
your.
favorites on the record, though.
All right, so yeah, so it was called. Are you familiar with Seinfeld?
Yeah.
Oh, you remember the Mandelbaums? You remember Izzy Mandelbaum? The
No.
the the episode. Okay, Izzy Mandelbaum has two episodes. There's one where Seinfeld's dad. This is later on. Seinfeld's dad hires Izzy to train Seinfeld, and that's in season 9.
Yeah.
I think it's episode. Might be episode 18, season 9. And Rob Cave references that in his verse, and then the whole Mandelbaum's chant is from season 8, where Jerry goes down to Florida and he buys his shirt. He buys the shirt for his dad, number one
Yeah.
dad. And after Izzy Mandelbaum gets like he throws out his back from trying to pick up a TV, he gets super pissed because he sees that Jerry's dad has his number one dad T-shirt, and he's like, trying to take me out. And so then he's like, what's the big idea? And so he brings his son, and then his son tries to pick up the TV, and he can't. And then the grandfather comes. Yeah, so it's like this whole Mandelbaum's chant. So I made it because Zeke is my son, and it's like father son team
Yeah.
did
Yeah.
the beat. So I named the beat that. I didn't know that Rob Cave Jr. and the Legendary were gonna run with the whole theme, but it turned out they were also Seinfeld heads, and they made it a joint.
Was that the same time where Jerry bought a Cadillac for his dad for Marty? Morty?
He was no, that was a later Florida episode. That one, okay, it was there was the name of the episode with the training is called The Blood, and I I forgot which. No, it wasn't one of the, it wasn't the Cadillac episode. It was I forgot, but it wasn't that. It was episode 8. It was episode I think that was episode 18 or 17 on season 8. Anyway, Mandelbaums.
Yeah. Well, speaking of Mandelbaums, like, so you have a lot of MCs on this compilation, and so when you're making the beats, are you just setting the beats to the MC and they're kind of coming up with a melody, or are you guys like doing that together?
Oh, so this was made during the pandemic.
Yeah.
So the togetherness,
Yeah. Out the
no.
window.
Yeah. So it was like, yo, I got this project, I got these beats, and I try to send them joints. So the funny thing is you think you know what people might like, and then they surprise you. And for instance, Cryptic and the Adams Family, and in Alaska, I hadn't worked with them in over like almost 2 decades, but
Wow.
they're my peeps. And like you have a preconception because Alaska and Cryptic did a lot of Def Jux stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, wow.
Yeah. Hangar 18 was on Def Jux. That was Alaskan Wind and Breeze. Cryptic was on the Cannibal Ox stuff with Vast Air. And so those guys, and they work a lot. They worked a lot in hand with Aesop Rock too. So you think you're gonna send them something, and then it's gonna sound. No, you don't do that. You just got to send what you make, and hope and see what synchronizes with their vibration. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so they picked joints. The joints they picked were what they picked, and so it wasn't really like, oh yeah, we're gonna make this together. What do you think? It's they pick what they like,
Yeah.
and you just don't know what's gonna happen.
And they kind of just add their own twist to the song
Yeah,
based on
they
what
had
the
their yeah.
got it.
I mean
Okay.
that's mostly what I do. I make a beat because I think I might have said this before about um uh the anthropological aspect of making sampled beats was you're just you're curating sounds and drum programming, So I'll curate a sound based on how I feel that day, or where I want to go with it. I haven't made beats in like 4 months because I've been DJing. So I don't DJ and make beats. I usually like gap them off. If there's like a dead season in DJing, I'll start making beats. But anyway, I've been DJing a lot, so I haven't been making. Anyway, when I do make beats, it's my feeling. You know what I mean? And if that resonates with you at that point in time, and you create something, then that's what makes it unique. Eighth one told me, you don't make any beats that are like empty, and I'm like, so that people could just go off. There's always like a feel or a vibe or something under there. I'm like, yeah, well,
Isn't that what a good beat is?
isn't that what a good beat is? But you know what it is? I think some MCs like to take the lead on the dance. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
yes.
And I tend to take the lead in vibe wise, and I'm like, yeah, this is what I'm feeling. If you don't feel it, whatever. But I think in my mind, the most empty beat on that beat is the one that FU was on. The Warwick Davis joint in my head. But there's a lot there's a lot of layering in the other ones. No, I forgot the question. How do I
I
make
know the
beats?
last, yeah. So like the last, it doesn't matter. So the last time we talked, I know you weren't a huge fan. You said you weren't a huge fan of working with MCs. Even though you weren't against it, but you weren't like huge on it.
Yeah, because I
So
didn't
yeah,
I didn't like chasing MCs down or dealing like I said, I like taking the lead on beats. So having to hear somebody like, well, can you do this? Or what if we but for this album, I didn't have any problems. So I'm kind of getting excited to work again because this has sparked, jump started a few other projects already. I have we already there's an FU project that's already a few songs deep, and it's got Homeboy Salmon and Spit Gems is jumping on it. Fat Boy Sharif is jumping on. Breeze is on it. There's a lot of people already on it. And I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I got the ball rolling. I got the catalyst going. And let me see, Breeze beefed up our Deep Breeze 2. We didn't release it because it came like it dropped the same time as the pandemic, like the
yeah.
very same time. So and no one was trying to do any kind of radio or blah blah blah, or promoting, or there's no tours really. And he's a dad, I'm a dad, so we're like, but the record sold, but now we're gonna release it digitally November, and we're gonna release a single, and we added some new songs to it. Once again, another MC I'm working with. There's another cat, Garcia Vega, on the album, who's already started recording, almost finished his whole album that I produce entirely. So yeah,
So
I'm working.
with this, that's good. With this
Yeah.
compilation, did you work all these songs? Were they all put together during the pandemic, or just a series of different time periods in your creative?
Nah, toward
Yeah.
so the beats were made
Uh,
throughout the pandemic, and then towards the I would say the ass end of the pandemic is when I started getting all the submissions. The funny thing is, I just got so I'm probably gonna do another compilation real soon because I just got two entries from Fresh Daily that he was supposed to he was
yeah.
supposed to do for the album.
Wow.
I got him this morning when I woke up. I'm like, oh, well, that's kind of late. I guess I got to start another album.
That's
So I
good
can't.
though.
I haven't heard them. I'm that confident they're dope enough for me to build another compilation off of. So I'm excited to hear them, but I'm too busy to listen. I get to them fresh, but
So now that you're kind of comfortable, well, I shouldn't say comfortable, like you're more open to working with more rappers again.
yeah,
And I know you did an instrumental version of what my dad listens to.
yeah,
Are you gonna do more? Are you still open to doing more instrumental only albums that don't have
yeah,
like, okay,
yeah. Of course. If if I have stuff that frees up, because I have a lot of oh, I don't know if you know the cats from Creative Juices. I'm working with them. It's ID, Alucard.
Yeah.
They already started and Jice one. They already recorded some stuff. Um,
I still got
yeah,
some of their
so
stickers somewhere.
yeah, they do make
Yeah.
stickers, and
Yeah.
Alucard is an amazing like visual artist. Just his drawings are crazy. So
Yeah.
I can't wait to see how the album sounds and looks.
Yeah. So, the one thing I wanted to ask you is, when you started, listening to hip hop, even making hip hop growing up, what have you noticed specifically about the underground hip hop music scene from when you started getting into it until now? What have you noticed about rappers and even producers in the underground specifically?
Well, um, what now? Okay, so what what prompted me to look for the underground? I think it was the, I would say the Jiggy era of hip
Mm,
hop when I was just it went from you got Jay with a Damage on the radio, entertaining the hell out of me. Big pun. There's all this variety, but then '96 comes and you got Reasonable Doubt and Biggie and then Puffy's saturating the radio. And then we get more R&B, and I'm like, man, okay, where's all the stuff that I used to like? Where's my Helter Skelter? Where's my all the on the Souls of Mischief weren't on the radio after '93, after Infinity. You know what I mean? And I'm like, where's all the creativeness? I mean, used to hear Delta Funky Homo Sapien catch a bad one on the radio on the East Coast. But then it just all got into Tupac, Biggie, Jiggy, and Puff Daddy, and Jay Z. And then it just didn't resonate with me. So I went to the underground and I found the create. So one of the big. Oh well, we still have Wu Tang, which kind of kept us on the Wu Tang was still popping, but it wasn't on the radio as much either. What Ice Cream and then Triumph, and then what happened
well,
on
the
the radio?
Ghostface told Hot 97 to go fuck themselves or something like that at
So,
Summer Jam.
so there we go. That's
Yeah.
why we don't get Wu on the radio. But
Yeah. Did you see
like
the of
regular.
Mics and Men on
No,
Showtime? Oh, you
no,
got to see that. Oh, it's
I do.
unbelievable.
I do, but I don't have time for watching stuff between watching 3 wrestling shows a week,
Yeah.
right?
You got to
But
cut that out. I
then
cut that out of my diet. Just one or maybe
just
two a week.
so yeah, it might just be AEW and Raw, and then Raw. I watch the first hour, then I watch highlights, and
Dude, I
by because
can't
by
do
9 I'm in bed, yo.
it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I can't do it.
Wait, what was I saying? Okay.
Underground hip hop.
Um, Company Flow
Yeah.
and the Company Flow, man. Oh man, when I heard 8 Steps to Perfection, look,
Ooh.
it's like for Wanda. Oh, mind blown. I'm staying here.
Yep.
And then I was in the car with my dad, and they were giving future flavors. Oh no, it was a future flavor. No, it was a contest. They would have at 6 or 7 which track was the hottest, and they played the session by the Arsonist. That's the one do 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 dim dim. And it had a crazy bass line, and it was just a cipher, freestyle, Jice, too unique, all of them, swell, and I have to say all their names because I know most of them, so I got to shout them out. But like that was like, yo, I'm staying here. So the Arsonist and Company Flow brought me to the underground and kept me there.
Yep.
And then that's where I sprouted. And then after you get into Company Flow, then you hear about Sonic Sum, Rob Sonic, Aesop Rock, Adams Family. I remember when I heard Vast Air, and I was like, oh, he's like perfect usage of homonyms. And me, I have a BA in English. I've always been into grammar and writing, so I was like, this guy and his homonyms are amazing. So I'll look up Cannibal Ox, people, and
Yeah.
Vast
Love
Air.
Cannibal Ox. Yeah.
Um, Vortal, man, Vortal pretty much innovated a lot of styles today of just throwing the voice at the beat. You know what I mean? Listen to Vortal on Cannibal Ox. Listen to any Vortal. Cannibal
Like,
Ox, right?
yeah, that's pretty much like like what I like, that the early Def Jux, even out in the West Coast, the early Stones Throw stuff. That's pretty much me. And then like the Soul Aquarian stuff, like Common, Roots, all that's me. Not
That's when
Yeah.
I started like okay, early Roots. I love a lot of early Roots, but then one thing I started doing was phasing out of listening when I started creating because I didn't want to be influenced as much. You know what I'm saying? I didn't,
I got you.
you can either be a consumer or what's the other word? A supplier or create a manufacturers, consumer manufacturing.
Hmm.
So I'm manufacturing, so I don't want to be. I do listen to the consumer, but a lot of times people don't know what they want. As I hear in my in-laws, if they'll sing along to the dumbest, they'll say the dumbest things that are so demeaning, and they're saying it over and over again. But they're pious, religious people. Yo, really? That being said, people don't know what they're saying, what they're doing a lot of the times. And what I was trying to do is just give people the opportunity that I had when I found rugged like Ravon, the 8 Steps to Perfection, and all the cold flow stuff and all the arsonist stuff. I went looking for Dr. Octagon,
Yeah,
Blue
Cool Keith, yeah.
Flowers, DJ Shadow. When I found
Ooh,
so when I found Introducing in '96, and then I'm saying a Portishead.
wow, yeah.
Yeah,
Love Portishead, yeah.
it just that opened up so many possibilities. Like, oh, I want to be a producer because my dad was already showing me old records that he would hear what I would listen to, and he was like, oh, this is from that. Oh, this is from that. Look, I got it. One of the first ones was when Bismarck E did "Let Me Turn You On," and it was "Ain't No Stopping Us Now." McFadden and Whitehead, and I was like, oh wow, that came from that, and then it just got me into digging. So just and I think it was who's the dude who did the album with Ghostface Killer who plays the organ? Adrian
Oh,
something.
Adrian Young. Yeah.
Adrian Young recently posted a hip hop producer will have gone through so much more music than any professor who specializes in music history. And I kind of feel it's true because I have a lot of records
Yeah.
ranging in various, and that's due to hip hop. And I have to thank hip hop. And even my wife said it years ago because I would make the beats out. I don't make beats out loud anymore. I make them in my ear. But back when we were younger and living together, she was like, "Man, I've heard so much stuff, like so much different music styles, so many cool things that I would have never ever heard if I just kept on with my life." You know what I'm saying? But you, being that hip hop producer, brought that into my life. And I've heard so much stuff. And like I said, we're going to go back to hip hop and thank hip hop. That's why, whatever, I could be old as hell or not be connected to what's hip, but I still owe a lot and I pay my debt. I still owe a lot to the culture. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because of what it's contributed to my life and what it can contribute to everyone's if they study or, and I don't want to say study because study doesn't sound fun, but if they go explore. And I'm so happy that kids are getting into the whole 90s. And if you buy those albums, look at the liner notes because people don't make liner notes anymore. And the liner notes will tell you where they got their sounds from. And you go and you look for that stuff. And that's where the fun starts.
That's exactly. I'm not even a DJ or producer, but when I get records, I like looking at the liner notes too. It's a lot of fun to know where things came from.
It's
So yeah,
information.
exactly. It's like you're learning, it's education. When it comes to like, the underground hip hop scene now, especially in New York City, I mean, you could tell me who you like, and some of them are your peers. The people that I love, the Homeboy Sandman, you guys, the Hunger Bros, and Euro Droog, Mike, Billy Woods, Elucid, all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like that, like yeah, did I say Namir Blade? Yeah, Namir Blade. He's not from New York, but like yeah, like all that stuff is what I really like now as far as like new underground hip hop or just hip hop in general. Is there anyone now on the underground scene that you just love? And they don't have to be people that you've worked with a lot. I'm sure there, a lot of them are people that you worked with.
Yeah, it's gonna be people that I worked with because
Yeah.
that's how I come up. Because I don't want to be a jerk, but I don't get around to listening to too much stuff. But okay, I'll tell you. UFO Fever was pretty fresh. I was listening to him a few years ago. But Germicide, wow. Please go. Here's an album with the expert. I can't. Please forgive me for not remembering the name of the album, but just look it up. It's on Bandcamp. Germicide and the expert, or the expert and Germicide. The cover art alone on that album is crazy, and they use these really. They have a really fresh plethora of hair samples, and I don't mean to sample snitch, but well, I'm gonna sample snitch because I want you guys to listen to that, and then I want you guys to go and look for hair records and go digging.
Like hair metal? Is that what you mean? Like
Nope.
poison?
See? Nope.
No, all right. Educate me. Educate me.
Okay. A long time ago,
Yeah.
back in this, I think it was late, I think it was 68, there was a play called Hair.
Yeah.
You ever heard the song Let the Sun Shine In? Let the sun shine in.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Or the song Aquarius.
Yeah.
The
Yes.
age of Aquarius.
Oh yeah, I watched Summer of Soul. Yeah, yeah, they were all over that.
Okay. That is from the play. Initially, all the music was produced by Galt McDermott. Galt McDermott, another name for you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing composer. That's where I'm gonna leave it at that. Anyway, I loved how the Galt McDermott covers were flipped, and then Germicide is so clever. I mean, you heard him on my album. He just
Yeah.
murders it. Yeah.
Yeah, he was great.
Who else do I like?
Breeze
Uh
ever flowing.
yeah, well, I mean, because yeah, of course I like Breeze. Breeze was the sorry. Whoops. Um the actual first underground song that I listened to was after talking to a girlfriend. So I went away for high school, right? And I could tell you, and I tell him this all the time. I remember because his song was the first underground song I ever actually heard, and I was like, wow. Because also being having a degree in religion, I heard his song first because I had finished talking to her on the phone. We used to talk on the phone back in the day on an actual regular phone, not a cell phone, to girls. And then I was still up. I was home, hung up, and I said, "Let me see what's on the radio." And it was late, and I forgot. It might have been Eclipse's show. It might have been, but it was my God, why have you forsaken me? That was the chorus. The name of the song was "Forsaken" by Breeze Ever Flowing, and and that was and I was like, what? This is mad cool. And I got the single, and then 3 years later, I did a posse. I was on a posse cut. I did like 3 songs with him, which was really cool. I was rapping back then, and I was producing. But then and now, I'm like full time working with the brother. It's really cool, right?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I am like I said, I'm a fan of hip hop, of the culture first. You know what I'm saying? So you know, I don't mean to be like a salty person about how it's advertised because that doesn't exist to me. That's not where I am.
Same.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm not gonna acknowledge it. But I like that people I don't like that people are still a lot of I get a lot of I look at a lot of the playlists in underground radio, and a lot of it is still like goon, mean, gangsterish street stuff. And I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
A lot of dudes are playlisting that like hard. But why? Why? Underground is supposed to be variety. It's supposed to be variety. That's my. So you asked me what I think about underground hip hop. Now
Mhm.
it's supposed to be variety, And shout outs to all the cats who are doing the street stuff right and who do sound good. You know what I mean? I heard this cat Simba today. He had a song with Pusha T, and and it was like, my mom was a queen pen, pushing something to Martin Luther the Fiend, and it was it was ill, like it was dope. Like I even like Pusha T makes me laugh. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause he says a lot of funny stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm not, like I said, I'm not mad at street rap, but I'm upset. I do get upset that people don't bring in variety to the underground, and they make it so we have, like, on the surface, over sexualized, over violent, super, drug rap, in what we see in materialism, and then so it's like, oh man, let me escape, let me look to the underground. Oh, these guys are mean here too.
Yeah. So the album is What My Dad Listens To.
Yes, sir.
Plug away, man. It's your time to plug.
Available everywhere, wherever you stream, even if you rip on YouTube. Go to Spotify, become my friend on Spotify, Deep of Two Hungry Bros. And it's bros. Don't try to be proper and say brothers. It's bros. BROS. You can look up the number 2 Hungry Bros. You can look up the music 2 Hungry Bros. You can post my music with your pictures on Instagram or on TikTok if you're still using that. Because I'm in the search engine, but you got to put like the whole name because I'm not that popular. So we'll see. But and then there's vinyl, guys. There's vinyl. It is on Bandcamp. I have just go to my link on my Bandcamp, and because I made a tinyurl.com/dad's new record will take you to Dad's new record, mine.
Awesome. Well,
That was
Deep,
pretty
thank you
clear,
so
right?
much. Yeah,
That
it
was
was
pretty
clear.
clear, right? Yeah.
That was perfect.
Deep
That was
2HB
perfect.
on all the social media.
Of course. And
Deep
I'm going to link it in the
2HB.
episode description anyway, so that's all good.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
get to it. Get busy, guys. I mean, spend some money. Make the underground a friendlier place by subscribing to, less mean spirited things. But yeah, even the irony is that I'm doing an album with FU and the name is FU, so you think it's FU, but and he tends to have this like tough guy, funny, like beat you up style. But on our album, we get cosmic, comedic, comical, comic, and we're still mean, but you'll have fun.
Well,
Can't
think
wait for
about
that to
John
come out.
Cena. John Cena's finishing move was called the FU, but he has like the most make-a-wishes out of like everybody. You know what I mean?
There we
So think
go.
about that, right?
So the Make-A-Wish album with FU coming soon.
That's awesome. Thank you so much, Deep.
Thank you for having me, bro.
Yeah, you got it.
Once again.